one of, if not the best game I've played so far this year. Welcome back to another video. 13 years later, here we are back in the world of Alan Wake with Alan Wake 2. It feels surreal. The first game on the Xbox 360, I absolutely loved it, and I never thought we'd get a sequel. Didn't get much support, and it was a shame because the game was so unique, and I felt like it was a great combination of everything that Remedy had done up to that point. And I have to tell you, after playing just Chapter 1, this is probably the best game I've played so far this year, and that's even after finishing Spider-Man 2. Let me tell you that I do not give review scores when I talk about video games, so I don't need to play 70 hours of a game in order to tell you it's a 9 or a 10 out of 10. I don't do that. But what I do, I said do, is take the experience that I have playing games for well over 40 years, and I can tell in a few hours if a game is going to be good, if a game is going to be great, or if it's just something that they sort of dialed in or phoned in and is just not going to be that great. And I can tell you that the attention to detail in this game is absolutely stellar, not only graphically, and we'll talk about that. This game is a very, very good looking game. Digital Foundry did their breakdown, and they said it's probably one of, this is their opinion of course, it's probably close to being the best game so far graphically that they've seen on console. In particular the PlayStation 5, which is the footage you're seeing here. I'm sure it looks just as good on the Xbox Series X. But I want to talk about something that I found to be just absolutely incredible, and that is the fact that they don't treat you, the person playing the video game, they don't treat you like an idiot. So most games where you're told you're going to solve a crime or you're going to be part of an investigation, they really don't allow you to do much. They hold your hand. They just treat you like somebody who can't think things through for yourself. Well, that doesn't happen here. And I'll give you an example. Now, all of this footage is Chapter 1, so you're not being spoiled of anything. This isn't the beginning of the game, so you're not seeing what happens in the beginning. But I want to talk to you about what you'll be doing, because I think there are going to be some people who are like, well, the gameplay is a bit too slow, or I can't figure it out. But I promise you, if you just give it the time that it deserves, you're going to find something that is wholly unique. There is nothing like this game, and there hasn't been anything like this game for quite some time. That's why I am so amazed by it, and I'm talking about it the way that I do. So imagine walking down to a crime scene. Now, there's this idea that you can't go somewhere and then leave and not bring something to the place and take something away from it. That's this idea when it comes to crime scenes. So in this game, essentially you find a body, and the body is tied to something. And instead of them telling you why it's tied up or who tied it up, you actually work through finding out things like what was used to tie them up. Is it part of something else? You work the clues. You find that there's this area where the crime occurred and there are a bunch of footprints around. So that's an indication that there's more than one person who's responsible for the crime. But then during the investigation, you see that the stage is set up, the scene is set up, and there are empty beer bottles, and there's a tripod that's knocked over. So the indication there is that they were sitting around drinking beers, either watching this crime occur or waiting for the victim to arrive, and you have to work all of that out. Now, there's something called the Mind Palace, and if you played Alan Wake before, you kind of have an idea what that is, but it's expanded upon here greatly, and I feel like that's where people are going to run into a bit of a snag because it isn't as intuitive as I would like it to be. But take your time, because essentially what you do is you profile a case, you profile a victim, and you profile the person who committed the crime, and it is absolutely perfect. Remedy had to have consulted somebody when it comes to this. So essentially what you're doing is you're taking clues and you're putting them up on a clipboard. So for instance, you say to yourself, here's the victim. How did he get to this area? And all of the clues that you had as you walk through the environment pop up there, and you put them together and you mix and match. And through that process, you start to learn about not just the people that committed the crime, but more importantly, who the victim is. And I can't tell you how exhilarating that gameplay is. Yes, it's a little bit cumbersome. I'm sure some people will say it's slow gameplay. They want that instant gratification, but the way that this ties together is amazing. So you're talking to two people here who witnessed a crime that occurred, and being very careful not to spoil anything, not showing you that crime. But as you talk to them, the main character here, Saga, has this sort of sixth sense where when she's talking to people, she can put things together, and you go to that mind palace, and not only are you looking at the clues that you saw on the crime scene, but you're also taking these mental notes based on the people that you spoke to, and you're putting those up and working the case that way. So for instance here, all of these clues you're mixing and you're matching. So you want to know what happened to the victim, and was the heart taken out before or after the victim was tied up? Was the victim tied up before he passed away or after he passed away? Were the people that you just talked to telling you the truth based on what they told you when you compare it to all of the other clues that you have? And all of this ties together. It's so engrossing, so engaging. It is just, I cannot say enough about it. I love the fact that they took their time and they took the risk to give you, the player, the urgency to work through this. And they're treating you like somebody who isn't an idiot. They're giving you these clues. They're letting you solve them. It is just, I just cannot say enough about it. I am so blown away just from chapter 1. You've got to give this game a try. You have got to get this game. It is absolutely, so far, one of the best games I've played in terms of the presentation, in terms of the graphics, the character models, the way that they emote, and just that cerebral style of gameplay. Putting your file up here, you walk through the crime scene, you're trying to figure out whether or not one of these clues works with either the victim or the perpetrator. You're laying them out, you're creating this sort of thought process, you're carrying it through to the end, and then you're figuring things out that lead you to another area in the game. And yes, there's tons of action-oriented gameplay. I've seen videos, I've seen multiple guns and multiple ways to fight. All of that is in this game, and I think that is important. But I want to highlight the other area that this game delivers to players, and it's just absolutely incredible. I'm just blown away by what I played in the first few hours of chapter 1. And chapter 1 ends on one of the most creepiest highlights. Think Twin Peaks meets X-Files meets Law and Order CSI. It is just so exhilarating. It is one of, I just cannot say enough about it. Guys, I'm telling you, you have got to experience this game for yourselves. And if you're wondering why that gameplay, taking those clues, putting them up there on your board, working them through, thinking about what happened, if you're questioning whether or not that is engaging and fun, the reason why it is because when you get to parts like this, you know who these victims are, you know what they went through, there's motivation there for you to continue, and it draws you into this story as the investigator in this town trying to figure out what is going on. Do not miss this game. Check it out. Alan Wake 2, one of the best games, if not the best so far that I've played, and I'm just through chapter 1, folks. Don't want to spoil anything for you, but I had to make this video. I'm blown away by Remedy. They've taken everything that they've learned through the film noir of Max Payne, Quantum Break, and Control. It's all here. Thanks for watching the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you've played it, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.